This video is packed full of tips and tricks on how to charge your iPhone, laptop, and other electronic devices in Europe and the UK in 2025. All the items and gadgets I mentioned in this video have affiliate links down in the comments, so if you want to, you can just click on those and buy the items from Amazon. Brought to you by eSIM Planet. Get 40 gigs of data for $34.99 and 1 gig of data for $5.99, and you can use this data across the entire EU. See the links below. We're going to start out by looking at the voltages of your devices to see if you can indeed take them to Europe. Then we're going to go over the different adapters to adapt the US plug to the European plug. Then we're going to look at the different types of chargers you want to take with you on your vacation to charge your phones, Apple Watches, and maybe your laptop. Then we'll look at external battery packs and why you might need one. You probably do need one. And then we'll look at a cable hack, which we're going to use with this guy over here. And finally, we're going to look at a USB-C charger for the car. So first, let's look at the voltage that our devices that we want to take along our chargers can operate at. And I want to say I'm 99% sure most of the devices can use the 240 volts that they use in Europe. So you want to kind of get the device, you might have to use a magnifying glass and take a good old peek. Here we can see our Apple charger does indeed run at 240 volts, and I'm 99% sure that everything you have runs at 240. So let's look at the actual adapters themselves. So all we're doing is we're basically enabling this 2-pin guy here to go into the regular wall socket, so you can plug this guy into these guys like this. So we'll go from the most expensive to the cheapest. I don't know, this is probably a couple of euros. I don't know, these things. So these are actually interesting because they're multi-adapters. This one has a little slidey thing on it, and it actually can have a UK, it can do a UK plug somehow. I think you push something out here. I don't know. I got this thing from the thrift store. These are actually quite expensive. I think they're like 25 something euros. But it does do UK, and my only thing with this would be that the USB ports, which it has, which is used for very low power. So I don't know. I wouldn't use anything like that. So let's get back to what I would actually use. So my favorite out of all of these is this guy here, because it's low profile, and it also, I guess it has some other countries. This is everything to Europe, supposedly. So this guy just plugs in to the, I'm in Germany now. This just plugs in like that. I don't think you have to have it any particular way. And then see, these are the earths here, and it goes in like that. And then, of course, all you do is you get your US thing and you plug it in to the top like that, and there you have it. That's pretty solid. So my biggest gripe with a lot of these connectors, especially the cheaper ones, is you'll see, so I'm going to take this guy out, I'm going to put this other guy in, and this is also probably cheaper than that. This is also probably just a couple of euros. I put this in here, and I put this guy in here. You see this I don't know, the metal in here, which grips the plug, kind of this metal here, obviously the prongs, is not, it's not as good as the other one. And this thing, especially when you put a cable on it, it kind of gets a bit floppy. And of course, this guy here, which is very, very inexpensive, this guy is even I want to say it's even worse than that, I think. Okay, so we'll put this guy in here. Actually, that's not too bad. But the biggest problem I have with a lot of these things is they just kind of move around, and sometimes they can pull out. So the guy that I like the best would be this thing here. And I think it is actually quite expensive, Skyros. I have another one here. I don't know, you can get these guys from all over the show. Just make sure you get something that's not too big. And then there's this one. This was kind of a multi one as well that fit in there. And also this thing also kind of moved around. And ideally, you know, if you have something that's actually not too bad, that would probably work. But like I say, when you put in a USB-C cable and got a couple of cables in here, sometimes these things can flop out. Talking of EU, well, ex-EU, thanks to Brexit, this is what you're going to use in the UK. And I know a lot of people from the US go to the UK, which they should, because it's a great place, in my opinion. Well, some parts. This is what you're going to use. Same kind of deal. They have these crazy square pins And here's a little kind of bit of craziness. They all have fuses in them, which you probably wouldn't have to worry about. But you can get one of these at the airport when you come in. I'd highly recommend using something like this, obviously, rather than these all-in-one adapters. And they actually work very well. This isn't going to fall out the wall because it has these massive, sturdy pins. Okay, let's get to chargers. What do I use to charge? We've seen how to do the adapters. We've seen what voltage to use. Let's get to chargers. So if you're a Peter Pan, single guy, a guy's girlfriend, spouse, whatever, no kids, lucky you, then you each could maybe get away with having one of these. Let me add a little hack here. You might say, okay, what's going on with this guy? How come this has a European adapter? Mine has a US adapter. Well, all Apple chargers like this, you can clip this thing off and you'll see there's like a slot there and you can buy something like this. I don't know. I think I bought this or maybe I found it or something. And you can just take your US one off and just put this European one in here. I can do this with one hand. Just slides in like that. And then you don't even need to have an adapter. Probably one of the most important things in this video, as far as Apple people, is you want to make sure you are using a fast USB-C, either USB-C to Lightning or USB-C to USB-C in these USB-C chargers. Do not use this old USB-A, I believe, because it's slower. Why? Well, if you charge your iPhone using this USB-C to Lightning, you can literally get 80% charge in half an hour, and it's a game changer. Why? You're on the train, you got very little time to charge, you wake up in the morning, your phone's dead because your kids have been screwing around on Instagram or whatever the kids do nowadays. Your phone's at zero, you want to clean your teeth, wash your face, make a coffee or tea or something. You've got 20 minutes, boom. You plug it into USB-C to Lightning or the newer ones, USB-C to USB-C. You can get a full charge or 80% in half an hour. So that's very, very important. So these cables, make sure you have USB-C to Lightning. Do not use this. I use this because I have some, obviously there's a port on here that I can use this for. Maybe I can just charge something overnight, or you can also, maybe you have your Apple Watch. I know this has USB-C, but some of the Apple Watches has that. Apple Watch doesn't use although there is a faster charger for the Apple Watch, believe it or not. And that is also a game changer sometimes when you're running out of juice and you have to charge it. So that's another thing to bear in mind. Sorry, we're throwing you left field here. So like I say, I like this. I love this Anchor because it's very, very compact compared to the same size as an Apple charger. Like I said, this guy kind of works because it has a built-in charger, but I don't know, it's super slow. Maybe there's USB-C ones now and has all the adapters. Like I say, there's one for this is what we plug in, and you can plug in your US stuff here. This also has the UK, which is another whole nother story. So, but I will say one thing. If you have a family, lucky you, with a couple of kids, I would invest in one of these. And it simply has 4 instead of 2 USB-Cs, and it has the 2 USB-As. Why? There's 2 advantages of this. Obviously, you can plug, everyone has a phone. You can plug all your USB-Cs in there and charge all your phones at the same time overnight. And probably one of the biggest advantages is it has a little extension cord on it. So like down here, I'm lucky it's right next to the bed here, so I can just plug this in. But now, instead of like going behind some couch or somewhere, or if you're on the train, if you've noticed on the train, especially if you have a sleeper car, the plug, the cool thing on the train is it has a 240 outlet, so you can use your chargers on the train. It's right by the door where you come in. You keep on kicking it out. So this you can kind of move around and put it maybe next to your bed or whatever. So this little guy is also, but it's not small, right? It's not the size of this little guy. So bear that in mind. Let's talk about external battery packs. Why do you need an external battery pack? Well, when you're traveling, using your GPS, using your screen on full brightness, And if you have an eSIM, now this is something people don't realize. If you have an eSIM and you're using essentially using two lines of your telephone, your battery is gonna go down like the freaking Titanic. It sucks your battery down really, really fast. And you're going to be even in low power mode and turn the screen down and you turn your phone, literally you put your phone in airplane mode. Your battery is not going to last a full day. I don't care who you are. So you need one of these battery packs. Okay. The one I like, the first one I got was this massive 20,000 milliamp hour. Okay. Let's just back up. Your phone has about a 3,500, 4,000 milliamp hour battery. This is 10,000, so this can charge 2 phones. This is 20,000, so in theory, this can charge 4 phones. It doesn't quite work out like that, but you get the idea. So I initially bought this guy. This is a monster. It only has one USB-C, which kind of sucks. This guy is exactly the same. This has a flashlight. This thing was like 40 something bucks. This is only like 20 bucks. I like this one better simply because it's half the size, half the weight. This thing is, I don't know, you couldn't really carry this in a fanny pack. This thing you can. I like this guy. I actually have an affiliate link to this guy. And the cool thing is, this is a killer feature. It says how much is left. This guy, I have no idea. It has some little lights on the side, and I'll squeeze the Morphe is good, and you'll see this thing is pretty much flat. Look, but it doesn't give you a nice. And this will also tell you how when you charge it. It tells you how much it's charged and how fast it's charging, etc. So I like this guy. This is 10,000. This is 20,000. So all you're going to do is you're going to plug in your USB-C because you want to fast charge your phone. And then if you want to do 2 phones, maybe this is where this cable in this red cable, this USB-A comes in, which can also charge pretty fast, but not quite the 26 or 27 watts that the iPhone can on USB-C. So there you have it. Don't forget these guys. These guys, they'll literally save your bacon. There's nothing worse than being, like I did, the Eiffel Tower, iconic spot, and your phone just dies, and then you're lost. Thank goodness there's someone, I'm with somebody else, and they took some photos. My phone died on the Eiffel Tower. I did have this guy, but I forgot the cable or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, definitely get one of these. I would get this guy, and I'll have an affiliate link down in the comments to this guy. Whatever one, I'd say 10,000 is enough. Make sure you get a display. If you can get 2 USB-Cs, maybe. I don't think I've seen those quite as often. And then another little tip, I'm going to turn this over now, and you'll see on the back, I have this thing here. I created these QR code labels, and I put it on all my devices. It's a QR code. It can either go to an email address, it can either go to a phone number, or it can go to a web page. And so if someone finds something, they can just scan it and, possibly, obviously if you're traveling multiple places, multiple days, you're probably not going to get it back. But I've recovered quite a lot of my gear from these QR codes. That's also another thing. It's obviously something you have to do before you leave. But I printed out, 20 of these things, stuck it on my kids, stuck it on their foreheads, stuck it on the iPad, stuck it on the suitcase, stick it everywhere. And in my case, it went to a web page. And a cool little tip is if you make the web page in multiple languages, which you can just translate with ChatGPT, then you can, if someone gets something, it's in English and we were in Greece, they're going to say, whatever. Whereas now I made it in 3 different languages. I should have done it in French. I did Greek, German, and English, and it should be in French. And then someone gets it, they can call you up, or maybe I have my WhatsApp link on there. I have a telephone number and email, and that might save you bacon. Stick it on your laptop, stuff like that. So there you go. There's my exhaustive tips on charging and powering your devices in the EU from an American standpoint. Here's a little pearl of wisdom that I just had I can give you. So if you can get one of these cables, I don't know, maybe on Amazon, and you can swap it out so that this guy here at the end is just a regular European plug, if you know what I mean. Just has the 2 prongs. Then I think this would be the killer deal, because then you can just plug this in. You have the extension cord, plug it in there, which is standard, and then you have your little portable charger. You don't have to mess around with any of these adapters. And here's another tip. Are you going to rent a car in the EU? Do you need to use navigation? Yes. Very, very yes. Get one of these. I know some cars have USB-Cs in them. now, modern cars, but get this anyway. This is also going to help you out by fast charging, because you'll see this thing is it does like 22, 2 9s are 18, does like 20 watts. So you can also fast charge your phone with this. And this is also, if you're borrowing maybe someone's car, one of these is very useful as well. If it's an older car, doesn't have USB-C. So definitely get one of these guys. There'll be a link down below.